Alright, so now is the moment of truth. I didn't saw all the way to the end of this on purpose, so now I'm going to take a chisel and just try to cut out that last little bit. Doesn't have to be pretty. Alright, now, what I'm going to try to do now is the moment of truth. I have no idea whether I'm all the way through the wood, much less to a point where it's going to pop up, because it's probably attached somewhere in the middle. You know what? Okay, here's a trick. See this piece that's already rotted?
Yeah.
That piece that's got dry rot in it will come out easier than the rest.
Yes, it will.
Once I have it out of there.
And you can determine.
See, that's dry rot, my friend.
Yeah.
Oh, what is dry rot? Dry rot means that it's getting water either from above or below, but not all the time. If something's stuck in water all the time, well, I almost got all the way through.
Wow.
I'm almost all the way through, so. If something's in water all the time, it doesn't rot, which is kind of weird. But if it's in water part of the time and then not part of the time, it rots. And of course, I'm nowhere near the joist on this side. That's okay. I have a contingency plan.
Hopefully you can find the joist now.
There's one right here.
Oh, of course there is, right there.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up this, I'm going to use this old rotten one, I'm just going to dig it out, because then I want to try to get as many of these up whole as I can, because I don't have very much lumber to fix anything with at this point.
Yeah.
Not in this width.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so turn it off for a minute and I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Okay, so there's one of the nails. It gets driven in the tongue, it gets driven in at an angle. Usually they use a finishing nail. That's not a finishing nail. That's a 6-penny common. Okay, but as you can see, I'm still working on getting that piece out, but I wanted to show you that's why you can't see the nails from the top. Because the nails are actually driven in an angle through the tongue.
Then that's why you can't find them to take them out.
That's why you could. Okay, and what I did find out is this wasn't on 2-foot centers. Because God hates me! It was on 16-inch centers. So, and I've already found dry rot in the joists, so there's that.
Well, we'll be
but
back.
I have a contingency plan, so.
We'll work the contingency plan.
We'll
be back.
Time for plan B!
Meanwhile, you're tearing out boards.
Meanwhile, I've got to tear this board out.
We'll be back.
Alright, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to salvage much of this. There's a lot of dry rot. And even the little bit that it's caught by is keeping me from getting it up. So I'm going to have to recut it.
Yay.
But it's easier now because I have a hole. So if you have a hole too, it'll be easier for you.
Okay.
Okay, again, you got to pick that safety up, but you can put it down. So I had to reset my saw.
Yeah, just a little bit deeper. Yeah.
Because of course, God hates me! I'm gonna turn it off.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so good news and bad news. Good news is no termites.
Yay.
Bad news is
that was the joist.
That was the joist. And that would be the problem child right there, is this joist that is completely rotted out.
Yeah.
The minute it rotted out. This one is weak, but that one is still pretty strong. You can tell looking at these that these are dimensional.
Yeah, it is dimensional.
What is weird is to find a building that is on 16-inch centers and is dimensional.
Yeah.
Because 16-inch centers is something they did, started in California for earthquakes.
Oh.
But they meant this to be the whole thing with no subfloor.
Right.
That's why it's on 16-inch centers. They never intended that there would be a fucking... See, and I have to step in there now. I know, yay. And I don't like snakes.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to find snakes, is under an old fucking building. But and I'm having a hell of a time getting these boards up. And here's something for you guys to remember. The reason why these aren't coming up is because instead of using teeny tiny finishing nails, they used 6-penny commons.
With nice big heads.
Nice big heads. And after 4 billion years, they're still very substantial.
We've been here 30.
Oh yeah.
And it was old when we got here.
Well, no, this building was brought in. So
Yeah, I know it was brought in, so God
how
knows.
old it
Yeah.
was. But yeah, you can see 6-penny commons.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's not coming apart the way I wanted it to. And I'm going to be running around looking for wood because it doesn't look like much, if any of this, is going to be good for anything but firewood.
Yay, firewood. But so far, knock wood, no bugs.
No bugs yet. That's good.
Yeah. Okay.
So now we know exactly what happened. You can see that's the cinder block that they used to hold it up on. And there's a 2x4 on top of it that is dry rotted.
Oh my God.
And the 2x4, actually these are 2x6s. And the 2 in the middle are badly dry rotted. So that's what happened. When this rotted out, the whole thing came down because it's no longer being supported by the cinder block.
Right.
At all.
Right.
So, yay! Welcome to old buildings.
Well,
And there's a reason I'm showing you this, other than I just need to make airtime because all I've done is fucking fix shit this year.
Yeah.
The other reason is this is not the only time I've had to do this.
no.
And I have talked probably a half a dozen people through making this similar repair in their houses.
Yes. On the phone.
On the phone sometimes, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
Because-
gone to rescue some.
Because, again, if you don't have a buttload of money and you have all of a sudden you're living in your house and all of a sudden the floor buckles.
It happens a lot in bathrooms.
It happens. Well, that's a different thing altogether.
Is it? Okay, but
Yeah, that's a combination of dry rot and
And moisture.
well, no, dry rot is caused from moisture. I just explained dry rot.
That's right.
Any rate, so it happens a lot in bathrooms, but it happens in living rooms and every other room in the house when you have weather changes and shit. In these old houses, they can buckle and move and stuff. So it's one of those things that, yeah, you can either pay a contractor. If you have that kind of money, that's what I would do, because it's not a fun job. Or if you don't have money and you don't want to see your family members crash through to the underneath side of your house, you can do what I'm doing.
Okay.
All right, so that's it for now.
Okay.
All right, so how rotten is this? This is the joist. These pieces are pieces of the joist that have fallen apart. And once again, there were cinder blocks on this side, and the boards rotted out so bad underneath them that now the whole floor is allowed to move. So it's pulling these things out of here, which I will reuse, I guarantee. But you can see by looking at what's down here that this definitely was moved in and then placed on blocks. Because when I show you the blocks that are in here, you're going to go, that's all crap. And of course, one of the blocks that I found is this antique plastic baby block.
Oh my goodness.
So this is probably circa the early 60s.
Yeah.
Which means they moved this in here in the 60s. Otherwise it would not be under the floor.
Right.
So now I gotta move all this shit, knock out all the dirt that's no good, and then I can start showing you how we go about repairing it.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
And see, that's all old, nasty, that's the kind of shit I use.
Yes, it is. It really is.
All right.
Okay.
So,
I'm going to go away for a while. Oh gosh. Lovely strong joist.
I know, right?
Okay, I'm going to go away.
All right. So, while Lynn was in the house, I went and got my chainsaw from the other shop.
I know.
It's a miracle.
I know. I know.
Why didn't I just use a chisel to chisel the board into? This board was so rotted, I went in and took it out. If Lynn will hand me the camera for a minute, I will attempt to show you how rotted the end still is. Okay, see that? That is how rotted that was. The other ones were even more rotted. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
and so what I'm doing is I'm going to paint those with, I'll show you what I'm going to paint them with in a minute. Okay, right now I've raked up all the crap that was left over. Look what else I found under the building.
Oh, lovely.
Okay. But anyway, I'm going to pick all this shit up. And I'm going to use my handy dandy, use it for everything,
Scoop.
scoop made out of an old vinegar or bleach bottle. This one's a vinegar bottle. Bleach bottles aren't any good anymore. They're not tough enough. Vinegar bottles, sometimes oil containers are still. But yeah, I'm going to get all that up that I can. I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, so now I'm about to try to fix this. Okay, so what am I going to do? Well, kids, I have to go get some more tools. So Lynn, turn it off for a minute.
Okay.